And as part of government's effort to balance employment opportunities between Nigerians and expatriates, President Bola Tinubu recently launched the Expatriate Employment Levy to facilitate homegrown skill retention and technology domestication. President Tinubu says it also aims to increase employment opportunities for qualified Nigerians in foreign companies operating in the country. Mr. President warns that the scheme shouldn't be used as an impediment nor as a clog in the wheel of foreign investment.
It is important to know that ELL is a contribution recently approved by the government, which will impose effective timeline on expatriates working in this country. To be able to train and develop Nigerians. Employment of more Nigerians by foreign companies operating in this country. Balancing of employment opportunity between Nigerians and expatriates. Close wage gap between the expatriate and the Nigerian labor force by making it more attractive.
It is our belief that the renewed hope agenda will be achieved within the labor space as more Nigerians will have opportunity to participate within the labor space.
I have been concerned about how we can put in place a policy that will ensure that companies, whether indigenous companies or foreign companies, don't bring technicians and read them as engineers, and some Nigerian engineers work under them as technicians. At a time when we have huge numbers of unemployment.
And joining me now is investment expert Kaiwa Ogunride for more perspectives to this development. Thank you for joining us on the news this hour. Mr. Ogunride.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us on the news this hour. The conversation about expatriate quota has been on even prior to this administration. But you heard Mr. President say that the goal or the aim for this levy is to close the wage gaps between expatriates and the Nigerian labor force. How much of an impact do you think this will really have, particularly, the expatriate employment level?
So first and foremost, thank you so much for having me. I hope you can hear me loud and clear.
I can. Please go ahead.
Thank you. I really want to celebrate the present administration for this very laudable decision, a very laudable initiative. And I think most advanced countries that are, or most countries that are interested in developing their system, attracting investors, but at the same time developing the local workforce have gone this route. You look at countries like the United Arab Emirates, you look at countries like even Kenya and the likes have all gone into this this scenario where it's a win-win. Even if you're bringing people in, the local economy should also win from it. And if the hurdle is too high for you to cross, then you have to invest in the local team or the local workforce. So I think it's a very laudable initiative. For someone like me, I'm quite excited about it because my own forte has always been helping global organizations domesticating foreign organizations in Nigeria and helping the economy grow in that space. And I think for efforts that people have been doing in their personal spaces and government is now beginning to put more structure to it, I think it is really laudable. My own concern, and I think that's perhaps the concern shared by a lot of Nigerians, is always in the place of execution. How do we execute this? And I think the presidency and his team perhaps had foreseen those kinds of challenges, and that's why they are stating it clearly that it should not be another bottleneck for foreign investment or another bottleneck for foreign multinationals operating in Nigeria. Rather,
when you talk about execution, precisely how do you think this can be executed in such a way that it doesn't frustrate potential investors, considering that as we speak now, it already costs companies in Nigeria about $2,000 a year to obtain a residency permit.
Yeah. So I do not think the problem is in the cost. To be very fair, I think the current the levy is 15,000 USD at the director level upward and 10,000 USD lower than director level. So, and I do not think companies will struggle to pay that annually. The challenge that will always be the model or the operational model of receiving the funds and the implications if those funds are not remitted. Even right now, we have quota system where the requirement for the quota system is if a skill is not available in Nigeria, only then can we import it. But we know that it's not being followed to the letter. And that's where the issue is not about the 2,000 or 10,000 cost. It's the fact that there's a process for payment and that process should follow. And I think I like how this is being structured. It's online. I've seen the portal myself. It's online where it should be transparent. Both the employer and the employee should be able to track it and to know when payments has been done. And I think another initiative that happened that I've seen and I'm hoping they're going to execute is the fact that if you pay for one employee, for instance, and he hasn't finished the 1 year tenure and he left or he leaves, wherever you're bringing as a replacement will continue on that payment. So you don't have to keep paying for every time you're switching employees. So I think that's actually I think those who sat down to design these should be applauded. I think they are all business practitioners. So you see a lot of things that make sense. And the fines, if you fail or you don't permit, the fines are not unbearable. I think it's around 3 million for infraction. So I just believe strongly that it has to be properly executed.
Do you think that we have the capacity to enforce compliance? Because the scheme also imposes a fine of up to 3 years and jail terms of up to 5 years for a person or organizations that don't comply. The Nigerian Immigration Service will be responsible for enforcing the levy. Do you think we have a track record that ensures that this is completely or wholly complied to?
In response to that, I'll try not to rely on track record. Not the records are there for everybody to see. I'm going to be relying on hope. I'm hoping that it's a new administration and it's an administration that wants to do something right. And more importantly, I think one thing that is getting very clear now is that this administration needs money. And I'm hoping that the desire to raise revenue for the country will override personal inhibitions or personal desires, and would perhaps remove a lot of bureaucracies and red tapes that may be a challenge on the way. The process looks simple, and the execution is fortunately put at the laps of the immigration agency, Nigerian Immigration Services. So and they have what it takes, sincerely, to have what it takes to execute it. The question has always been the purpose and the willpower to drive the implementation. So, and as long as the individuals can take the national will or the national interest above personal interest, then I think it's very, 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 very achievable.
Hi, Ogunride, investment expert. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us on the news.
Thank you so much.